Good morning, Everyday Math. Happy Monday as we kick off our week. So here is our joke for this week. To start us off, why does the moon rock taste better than an earth rock? So why does a moon rock taste better than an earth rock? Well, that's just because it's a little meteor. You get it? Meteor? Meteorite? Meteor as in more meat. There we go. Good deal. Well, I am going to be talking about stuff from page 228 in your math journal, so make sure you have that open. It would be very helpful for you to have that open and work along as I work. So as I've been preparing for this, I really don't like the way that the book goes through the process of answering these kinds of questions. What we're going to be dealing with are solving equations with a variable. So here's the most simple example. It's at the top of your page. It's number 1, and it is 12 plus x equals 32. Now, what your book wants you to do is go through and just kind of guess, like, oh, let's just put in different numbers for x and see how it's like. But I want to show you the real process of solving for a variable. And when I say variable, that means a letter that is, we're trying to figure out what plus 12 equals 32. Now, for those of you that are really sharp, you already know the answer. You're like, oh, well, I know it's going to be 20, just because it's kind of a simple problem. But here's how we break it down. Whenever we're trying to find a variable, like x or y or p or z, whatever letter they choose, we want to get the variable all by itself. So right now we have 12 with it. And the way that we get the variable all by itself is to do the opposite of what's being done in the problem. So for example, we have 12 plus x. So this is a positive 12. So if we want to get x all by itself, we're going to need to get rid of 12. So we're going to subtract 12. But whatever we do to one side, think of this as a side. We have our equals mark, which separates it. Whatever we do to one side of the problem, we have to do to the other. So if we subtract 12 from the left side, we need to subtract 12 from the right side. So when we subtract 12, those cancel out, so we are just left with x, and it's going to equal 32 minus 12 is 20. So that's the process. You got to do the opposite of what's happening to try to get x all by itself. Okay? Let's go to another example. Next example, I'm going to pop down to, let's go to number 4. Number 4 says m times 8 equals 35 minus 19. So here's what we do. Now when we're solving algebraic problems, PEMDAS, our order of operations, still applies. We need to follow those order of operations. Well, you know what? Actually, scratch that. We don't do that. My bad. The whole idea is we want to get m by itself. But there's things that we can do to kind of simplify and get down. So I'm going to solve this equation for, this 35 minus 19 because it just gets us down to one number. We can solve it. Good to go. That's the first thing that I look for, is look for things that you can break down that don't have a variable. Solve those first. So forget PEMDAS. I'm even going to erase it. I wish I didn't say that. Forget what I said about PEMDAS. We're trying to solve for x, or m in this situation. M is our variable. So we work with things that we can break down without a variable first. So first, I'm going to put a 1. I'm going to put no variable. No variable. Work on that first. Solve. Alright, so we can do 35 minus 19. We subtract, let's see, subtract 9, that is 26, and subtract another 10. So we got 16, and we still have m times 8, and sometimes you might see it like this, 8m. That means the same thing, multiplication is still happening, but sometimes that's what it will look like. Alright, so we have 8m equals 16. So what is happening between the 8 and the m? Right, multiplication. So we need to do the opposite of that. Remember, whatever we do to one side, we have to do the other. So what is the opposite operation of multiplication? That would be division. So we're going to divide by 8 on this side, and we will also divide by 8 on the right side. So now we are left with just m, our 8's cancel out, and 16 divided by 8 equals 2. So now we can just say, all right, well, let's figure out, is this really true? Does m really equal 2? We can plug it in. So let's plug in m. 2 for m, 2 times 8 equals 35 minus 19. So I know that 2 times 8 is 16, and we already solved that 35 minus 19 is 16. So that is correct. That is our correct. 2 is a correct answer for m. 3 would not work. 1 would not work, but 2 works. Okay? One more problem. Let's look at number... Oh, the last thing. If you noticed, it says solution. I've been writing down the solution, but it says write the number sentence. So we'll go back to this page, and let's write the number sentence, and I'll stop here. So our number sentence here is exactly what I put right here. We plug in our number for our variable. So that's what you want to put in place for number 4, is you want to make sure you write that whole equation. Okay, so that's what you do for your number sentence. I'll make a note. Number sentence. There we go. Okay? If you have questions, feel free to always look back at this video or ask me if in an appropriate way. Remember, don't go crazy and jumping up and down. Even though you may be that excited about math, it's not the best for classroom behavior. All right? I will see you in real life.